Oh, and here we go. So everybody's on stream. Welcome. This is Final Fantasy I for the PSP. We're starting off by doing the glitch we'll be doing throughout the run. It's our equipment glitch. What we're doing at the very beginning is we're buying a hammer, and by changing from the weapon slot to the armor slot, a different character on the same frame, just about, while selecting your possible list of weapons, it'll let you do a glitch to get items you're not supposed to have yet. So we're getting knight's armors on our characters that, first off, we're getting them on all the characters. We're not supposed to even have them available yet, and we're getting them in all the armor slots that we want. We also are selling some to fund the run. So just very, very beginning of the game, we completely break it. And we're going to be using that same glitch throughout the run a number of times in order to get very, very high-end equipment. The way it basically works is every weapon and every piece of armor has a designation number on it. And there's a weapons list and there's an armor list. So pretend that the hammer is weapon number 1. Just the way it's organized in the game files, you would have knight's armor be armor number 1. So when you switch from one menu to the next, it brings up the designation that it sees that number 1 on that weapons list, and it brings up as that number 1 as an option in the armor when you do that pseudo frame perfect trick. It's actually really easy to learn and allows us to do some really broken things, and it is exclusive to this version. It is the major reason why this version of the game is so much shorter than any other version. So right up, we're getting into Chaos Shrine. I would like to point out that Xelnas has started his timer a little late, so it's not going to be quite as accurate. But here in the Chaos Shrine from the very beginning, Xelnas and Eli are going to be grabbing the Judgment Staff. Rather, they're actually grabbing the leather helmet, which they're turning into Judgment Staffs. The Judgment Staff is a very, very powerful item. It's an item from kind of a post-game, bonus dungeon that, in addition to being stronger than any weapon we can get at this point in the game, also allows us to cast Flare, the most powerful black magic spell, for free as much as we want from any character. So already we have broken this game heavily. So we're going to be defeating the first boss in a single cycle, and that's going to be true of most of the bosses in the game. Xelnas is more of a veteran runner than Eli is, but Eli's been kind of catching up and doing a lot of streaming recently, getting better and better at this game. The big handicap that Xelnas has against him right now, you look at his character names, RIP left bumper frowny face. His controller has a broken left bumper, so he's had to remap the controllers for his emulator in order to be able to perform the equipment glitch, because it does require you to hit, for instance, if you're going a weapon character, taking a weapon from a character and putting it, the armor glitch on the character to the left in the menu, you hit the left bumper and X or A, depending on your controller, at the same time. That is not an option for Xelnas right now, so he's had to remap the controls slightly just to be able to perform the glitch. But that is going to be affecting his menus a great deal, and there's a lot of them early on the run. So right here at the beginning, this is actually one of the longest cutscenes in the game. Whenever they ported this game, the original version had very, very few cutscenes, original Final Fantasy. They started adding a few in the later versions of the game, but it's like they kind of added a few at the beginning here and then just kind of stopped. So this is really kind of the only scene like this in the game. Other than this, you'll just see a few text boxes and some little video sequences when you're unlocking new areas. But for the most part, we're done with plot. In a moment, we will be crossing the bridge. In every version of Final Fantasy, there's a little text crawl that plays the Final Fantasy theme when you cross the bridge. This is the only version in which you can skip that text crawl. It's really nice. And it looks like we are neck and neck right now. So there are different kinds of encounter rates depending on what tile and what dungeon you're in the game. In the overworld, the highest encounter rate's going to be in the forests, and the lowest is actually going to be in the swamps, with the grasslands being fairly low. So if there's not a serious deviation from the route, we're going to try to stick to grasslands and swamps over forests. But this part of the game does have a whole lot of forest walking that just can't be avoided. Now, Xelnas is coming up to talk to the pirates in the village here to get themselves a boat, and we're going to see the first use of the Judgment Staff as an attack item instead of as a weapon. So let's see how this happens. Free use of most powerful spell in the game. And that was a boss fight. Now, execution is very important in this game, but that being said, this game is also very, very heavily RNG dependent. There's your encounter luck, what kinds of encounters you get, whether they be ambushes or unrunnable encounters, and then sometimes just enemies that can one-shot kill your team. There's a lot of luck in this game. It makes it kind of frustrating sometimes to be grinding out PVs or going for records, but it does make for an excellent race game because you have that kind of rubber banding effect where you can have the world record holder running against someone who has a time 10 minutes slower than him, and you can still have a competitive race depending on how the RNG goes. You know, skill gets you so far, then a lot of it is luck. We'd like to say that anybody who has a PB in the 133 range probably has the skill set to do, you know, a 127, 126 run if they just got that perfect luck. But that makes for some really, really fun races because it can be very disheartening in lots of games. You know, you go do a race and you lose by a great deal just because you feel like you're so much worse than the other players. In this game, you know, you do a few races, you're going to have some bad races, you're going to have some good races, and you'll be getting better at the game, but you won't feel as an experience when going up against the top runners. So this is like for me, one of my least favorite sections of the game. It's a lot of fetch quests. There's a lot of walking through forests. We want to avoid, if we can, and basically not run into these wolf encounters. Any of the wolf encounters, they're difficult to run from. There's a good chance that you'll fail your runs. And even if you get the runs, they have a very high speed, so they tend to get in attacks before you attempt the run. So Xelnas got a little trolled right there. And on Eli's screen, he's getting poisoned everywhere. So he's going to actually have to stop and go into the antidote menu. So if you watch there on that black mage, there was a little animation it played when he was done healing his characters. All the restorative items have an animation in the chat, animation in the menu. But if you try to then use the item in a situation where you can't, it makes a little buzz sound, and it keeps you from actually being able to use it. But that also cancels the animation. So when we're using antidotes, Phoenix Downs, Gold Needles, we want to double tap them to intentionally make that little buzz and cancel the animation. So the Marsh Cave here has one of the lowest encounters in the game. You'll sometimes get 0 encounters in the cave. Sometimes you'll get a lot more, depending. And here we're fighting the Pisco demons on Xelnas' screen. These are guarding a very important item we need to continue. He had a little bad luck with Pisco demons. They did kill his warrior, but the most important thing is that they did not kill one of his mages. Later in the game, we're going to want our mages to be doing a brief grind fight, and it's just easier to keep track of their level if neither of them until that grind. Also, you'll notice here when he heals the warrior, he's not gonna just keep tapping until it buzzes, because he wants to keep under about 65-70 hit points for both our warrior and our thief, simply because we're going to be doing that grind fight later, and we need them both to die. So there's a point in the run where we want them to die, so we want a group attack to kill them quickly. Eli had a little bad luck there. They did critical hit his black mage. Oh, and then he forgot to pick up the crowns. He has to go back and fight them again. That is something we've all done at one point or another. So that tile in front of the chest always has a Pisco demon encounter. It's what we call a spike tile. There's a number of them in the game. A lot of our mini bosses are just tiles. When you step on them, you automatically get a boss fight. Or sometimes just a regular encounter. So Xelnas is back out of the cave. He's working his way up to talk to Astos. So the beginning of this game is a really giant fetch quest. It starts off with you trying to get out through the west side of this little locked-in ocean area you're in. In order to do that, you need to get to go visit the dwarves and have them blow up the path. To do that, they need nitro powder. The nitro powder is hidden behind a door, which is locked by the Mystic Key. The Mystic Key is held by the Elf Prince, who is currently in a coma. So you need a Jolt Tonic to wake him up. In order to get the Jolt Tonic, you have to get the witch, Matoya, to give you the Jolt Tonic. For that, you need the Crystal Eye. For that, you need to fight the Dark Elf King Astos, who will only talk to you if you give him the crown. So everything I just said, do that in reverse. That's what we're doing. So we're right here on Xelnas' screen, we are giving the crown to Astos, so he'll fight us. In this battle, Astos has a very good chance of casting Death. If he does, you want it to happen to either the thief or the warrior, for the same reason I was saying earlier. You just want to keep your mages alive. And then you're going to Judgment Staff with both of your mages and physical attack with your physical characters. Simply because the mages aren't going to do a lot of damage if they hit them, and you want to hopefully kill them in one cycle. And Xelnas does kill them in one cycle. Around the 13.5 minute mark, so it's not great time, not terrible time. It's about par time. So the outcome of this race is very important for the tournament. Currently, both of these runners have had one win and one loss. And this is the third of 3 runs they will be doing to see who gets into the actual brackets for the elimination phase. So whoever wins this will most likely move on to the next phase. The only thing that could hold that up is I am currently scheduled to race Chrono Kirby. I have 2 wins. He has actually no. I think I'm set. I think whoever wins this moves on. I think unless Chrono, unfortunately, did have to bow out and take a forfeit against Eli. So whoever wins this should move on. So Eli getting a little worse luck on the way back, but Xelnas ran into a lone shark there. He got lucky with it. The lone shark is actually very difficult to run from. You'll notice that even though the ship moves quickly and has low encounter rates, sometimes we park the ship what looks like a little suboptimally, not quite as far along as you think we could. The reason we do that is because while you're walking along those little dock tiles, you have a 0% encounter rate. So sometimes parking the ship in what looks like a bad spot actually can reduce your encounter rate. So Xelnas makes it to Matoya's cave. There's another brief little cutscene here. She talks about needing her glass eye that we've already gotten because we knew to go get it ahead of time. Feasel, that's a terrible loan shark joke, and I love it. So both the runners are actually very close right now. Always exciting to see. So now we're going back down to this other continent we've already been wandering around to go visit the Elf Castle. We're going to be doing another equipment glitch there and some other little interesting time saves. So when Xelnas goes in the castle here, you're gonna go talk to the kind of medic here by the healer by the Elf Prince. Elf Prince is gonna wake up. We're gonna get that fabled mystic key. And then we're actually going to leave the castle and come back into it. We need to go to the far right of the castle. It's actually quicker to leave and come back in than it is to walk over there and back. We're going to walk to the right. We're going to go all the way to the top. We're going to go to this door sealed by the mystic key, and we're going to pick ourselves up the mithril hammer. We're going to be changing that into thieves' armlets for all of our characters. And we're actually going to be putting the Thieves' Armlets on our helmet, armor, and glove slots. The Thieves' Armlet increases our speed, which does two things. First off, it makes us more likely to get turns before the enemies, but it also gives us a greater odds of escaping in a run attempt. So we want to just stack those on our characters to get those speed bonuses. The reason because we can put it on any armor slot with this glitch. The reason we're not putting on the shield slot is because if it is on our shield slot and we get attacked, our character attempt to parry, since there's no animation tied in with most of our armors for a shield parry animation, it'll actually soft lock the game. Later on, there is an item that we get lucky actually does have an animation for some reason, which just works out perfectly in the late game. We also went into the elf village to get ourselves some gold needles. That's just in case we get petrified later in the run. Gold needles are not sold many places, so we pick them up there. And the reason we don't do all of our item shopping here is because Phoenix Downs are not sold in the Elf Village. Otherwise, we would have done all our item shopping here. And Xelnas has some real issues with his sea encounters. So Eli's on his way up to the Mystic Heat. They are just neck and neck. Eli is a little newer to the game, but he's doing a great job. And that kind of balances out with Xelnas' controller issues, so it's going to make for a really interesting run. Xelnas just getting a lot of unfortunate encounters right now. Now we got that nitro powder. We're gonna come over and visit the dwarves in Mount Durgar. However that said. D&D for Dark Elf. And Eli actually makes a wrong turn in the cavern. That's alright. Learning your way around the maps is actually the hardest part of learning this game. That and knowing which encounters are unrunnable. Unrunnable encounters are not something we've run across yet. We will be running across them almost certainly, and a lot of them. So interesting little trivia here. There's about to be a video sequence. We're going to see kind of a pronounced, almost like grid, like couple like weird lines going through the image that are more pronounced on the emulated version of the game. It's one of the few ways you can actually visually tell the difference between the emulated and the UMD version of the game. So you're about to see it here on Eli's screen. Very, very briefly, because we X out of the video as quickly as possible. And now that path, that peninsula is open, we can access most of the rest of the game world. And the next stop we'll be doing is in the village of Melman, which we visit at 3 different points in the game. We're swinging by here the first time to get the most important item in the game. While we're on the way, I'm going to talk about why we got the party we did. Because of the equipment glitch, we can actually make really good use of the thief. The thief will later on in the game become the ninja, and one of the aspects of him is he gets the most hits per turn. You'll see when we attack, you'll see 2 hits, 4 hits, 8 hits up above the characters' heads when they attack. The ninja gets the highest number there. And what usually keeps him being real powerful is he can't equip good weapons. Well, we fix that. We can put whatever we want on him. So he's our damage dealer. Our mages we have for spells, mostly for the final boss fight. The only reason we have the warrior is for this menu we're about to do right here. We're going to go get the steel gloves, which only the warrior can equip. That can be transformed into the barbarian sword. The barbarian sword is the strongest weapon in the game by more than 2-fold. You actually can only normally get it from the hardest version of the hardest post-game super boss. After you do the hardest version of the dungeon to get to him. It's kind of a reward for having beaten everything in the game. And it's just super, super powerful. You're going to see in a little while just how powerful it is. But since only the warrior can equip the steel gloves, that's the entire reason we have him in the party, is just for that menu to give everybody that sword. He's still a good character overall, but if someone else could equip those steel gloves, we would actually have 2 ninjas instead. The white mage is only for healing the last boss. The black mage is for casting haste in the final boss and for using a teleport spell at another point in the game. So Xelnas is now in the Cavern of Earth. The Cavern of Earth is a dungeon that we actually have to revisit more than once. And on the 3rd floor of it, we will run into our first unrunnable encounters, also our first chance of getting petrified. So this dungeon can be very, very cruel at times. And Kraken, the reason there's only one timer going, I believe Xelnas missed starting his timer. So he just went ahead and reset to 0. But the stream started very, very close to each other. I would say it's probably fairly accurate on both sides. So as you saw, we just had to fight some Pisco demons there. If we ever run into Pisco demons, we have to fight them. This game has a whole bunch of encounters that are flagged as unrunnable. One of the frustrating things about learning the game is there are a lot of those encounters, and when you try to run from one, it doesn't say you can't run, you just fail to run. And so unless you've played the game a lot, you don't know which ones are just harder to run from, which ones you just failed to run from, and which ones you actually are not allowed to. But you run the game enough, you learn it. Here you got Xelnas attacking the vampire. So that was a boss that died in 1 hit with that new sword. Doing almost 1,000 damage, even though our characters are very, very, very low level. And now it's kind of the most frustrating walk of the game. The path to Lich, the Fiend of Earth, is actually right behind that room the vampire was in. But in order to get through it, we have to get an item called the Earth Rod. In order to get that, we have to visit a sage that makes us go through a giant's cave, and the giant wants to eat a star ruby. So we picked up that star ruby behind the vampire, and had to backtrack a long way, go to another cave, so we can come back through all those caves and back to that floor. It's a really big backtrack. And that's something that exists in a lot of RPGs throughout the years. There's a lot of backtracking in them. But it just, the age of these games show themselves a bit more when you don't have a bunch of, plot and story sequences kind of hiding the fact that you're doing this backtracking. So Eli ran some cockatrices, and he had a petrified thief there, but not doing too much damage. If you get really unlucky, you can get ambushed by cockatrices, and they can hit all 4 of your characters, and it's game over. There's nothing you can do about it. Now he's dealing with the white gas group. This is a very bad one too. You can see the thief right now and the warrior are paralyzed. If all 4 of your characters get paralyzed, it can take a long, long time, several minutes to get out of it. Or if you get really unlucky, they can just spend several minutes and just kill your characters. So we really don't like that floor. So this giant right here that's getting this ruby was blocking the path. That's the whole reason we had to go fight the vampire, was to get that ruby to hand to him. The shadows that Eli just ran across are interesting enemies. Shadows can only give you an ambush or preemptive attack. There's no regular attacks from them. Fortunately, it's a 7 and 8 chance of getting a preemptive. So generally we don't mind running into them unless it's an ambush, then it's really annoying because it's a 1 in 8 chance that we just roll bad on. But generally we don't mind running into them too much. The nice thing about preemptive, not only do you get to go first, but you are guaranteed to be able to run from the battle. And that's really nice. You can just instantly run. An ambush is actually worse than it is in a lot of Final Fantasy games because there is no active time battle. Everyone gets 1 turn per round. If you get ambushed, the enemies just get an extra round before it begins. So if they're really fast enemies like wolves, you might have as many 18 attacks come at you before you can even attempt to run, because they get 9 attacks off of their ambush, then 9 more potentially before any of your characters gets their initiative roll and can go. Yeah, I'm not sure if that is the same music or not. It would not surprise me at all, actually, because Final Fantasy IX pays homage to all the previous Final Fantasies as a love story to other Final Fantasy games. It would make a lot of sense for that to be the same music. I haven't played Final Fantasy IX myself in several years, though, so I don't have all the music memorized. So Xelnas is back in the Cavern of Earth, and Eli's on his way there. Alright, so Xelnas back on that 3rd floor that can have the cockatrices and the paralyzation and the piscodemons. And the final bit of real bad luck you can run across is the boss in this dungeon does have a chance to cast Blizzara, which the level we're at, we have no magic defense on any of our items, and we're very low level. So if we cast Blizzara, it's pretty much guaranteed to one-shot kill the entire party. Fortunately, since this was made for a mobile game system, the PSP, the game did allow you to save anywhere, not just on the world map. So it's really nice for these spots where there's a chance of dying up to a boss or to a spike encounter or just a dangerous floor. You can save anywhere. See, Eli decided to do it right there at the beginning of the 3rd floor. Alright, and Xelnas just unlocked the 4th floor of the dungeon. This is probably the most maze-like floor of the dungeon. And Eli dealing with some piscodemons here. We have to be careful with the piscodemons. The first time you run across them here, it's easy to accidentally try to use the judgment staff on all of the enemies. Because the last time we used an item to wipe out an enemy group, it was our equipped item. So you have to be careful not to accidentally try to use the barbarian sword, which will do nothing. Alright, and I did not actually see Xelnas saved there. I'm hoping he did. because he's about to fight Lich. Okay, he should be fine. Lich attacked. As you see, we killed Lich in 2 hits because our sword is completely broken. Yeah, I feel you, Xelnas. I'm getting a little tired myself. So typically, it's about an hour from this point to the end of the game. A little less on a pretty good run. So Xelnas is had kind of rough opening, and so has Eli as far as PB rate paces go. But they're both making progress, and it's still a very, very close race. Honestly, you can lose easily 5 minutes in the final dungeon of this game. Easily, and that's without dying to the final boss, which can just decide to kill you sometimes. So this is a game where the race truly isn't over until it's pretty dang over. And every time we kill one of the 4 fiends, we're going to have these little video play out showing a bonus dungeon open up. We will not be visiting any of those in this category. Okay, Xelnas is very sleepy because he just tried walking back to the Sage's cave instead of continuing on with the game. He caught himself though. Oh, thanks for looking that up, Alfonso. Is that Alfonso? Oh, Eli got a Blazara cast on him. Yeah. Missed that earlier. That is a very, very rough bit of luck, but that's why we did the safety save. Alfonso, okay. And even with these thieves' armlets, Xelna's having trouble running from those sharks. It's I actually still haven't done a all bosses are 100% run of this game, even casually. I need to sometime. So right there, the warrior died. Let's see. Okay, he is gonna heal him. Sometimes people choose not to revive them at this point because you need them both to die fairly soon. But as long as you keep them under 50 hit points, you should be fine. Yes, the bonus dungeons in this game are very I played through a few of them casually years ago, and they are quite long. Yeah, there is a full bestiary run that's run sometimes. Very rarely. A few people ran it last year at the end of this tournament to kind of celebrate the end of the tournament with like a 12-hour run. It was quite long. So here, getting some ethers, and we're doing another equipment glitch. We are changing out the mithril axe for the black garb. Since only the warrior right now can equip the mithril axe, we are actually going to only be using it with him to make the black garb on the thief and the black mage. Only they'll get that. But so right now our thief and our black mage are going to be our fastest, quickest runners. We also picked up the canoe and some ethers. The ethers will fund our magic throughout the run, and the canoe is just so it lets us travel over that kind of light-colored, shallow water. We need that to get into the next dungeon. That is correct. They do all 8 versions of Chronodia and full bestiary route. I think it's Cruel that ran it last year. So we're on our way into the Cavern of... it's kind of like one of the last big, dangerous hurdles of the game. There are... 3, really 4 pretty scary encounter types that can just decide to kill you. There's also lots of enemies that can paralyze you, so it's can be pretty rough sometimes. So we like to save before it, especially in a race, because you can be killed by dark wizards. They can decide to cast Faraga and kill all your party. White dragons can cast Ice Storm and kill all your party. You can have Mind Flayers can paralyze your entire party, then attack them with an attack that has instant death attached to it, and Cockatrices can stone your party. You also do have unrunnable encounters with the Pisco Demons. It's a cavern that can go really, really well or really, really badly. So that no run really begins until after the Ice Cavern. So there, the Dark Wizards. If all 4 of them cast Faraga on ambush, your party dies. There's nothing you can do about it. This is also where we're going to be doing our grind fight, and we're going to be getting the Levistone, which will allow us to pick up the airship later in the game. So this is the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer has a spell that can, in one shot, sometimes paralyze your entire party. It usually misses, but if it does happen, you probably will not survive because his physical attack he does afterwards has a good chance of casting instant death on you. So as you get a group of them, it can be really, really bad. So Eli here, okay, he is going to Gold Needle him. A lot of players would not use the Gold Needle there because the Petrified counts as dead as far as the experience counter for the grind fight. Now, I'm hoping Xelnas realizes this is an unrunnable. Yeah, I think he realized he shouldn't try to run from that. The Ice Gigas Winter Wolf combination cannot be escaped. So the reason we're doing physical attacks against these 4 Pisco Demons instead of doing a Judgment Staff, because all 4 characters already had attack selected, and while technically it'd be quicker to Judgment Staff probably than to attack all 4 of them, when you add in the menuing time, that may not be true anymore. So this is the Evil Eye. We want this Evil Eye to cast Thundara. That's what we want to happen on the first turn. If you cast Thundara, it'll kill our warrior and our thief, which is our goal at the beginning of this fight. So, okay, he's casting it here. So it took a few turns, but now they're all dead. Now we're going to start attacking Evil Eye and get a lot of experience for our 2 mages. And we're going to heal up the mages after grabbing the Levistone, and that is a spike tile. You'll always get the Evil Eye on that spot where he's standing right now. So, he's going to go ahead and save in case he accidentally steps off the platform. And we're going to continually fight this battle until our characters reach level 18 and then 1 more battle. We need to be level 19 from the spells later, and 18 plus 1 battle will get us close enough that we'll automatically get it. And oh no, Eli got the Faraga cast from that Dark Wizard I was telling you about, and that's why we save right there. And then you got a white dragon on the next encounter. Now he's getting very high encounter rates. I think Xelnas should be getting pretty close to level 18 here. Yeah, okay, so he finished the grind fight. He's healing up his party, because now from here on out, since his characters have reached the level they need to, we can heal our thief and our warrior all the way. From here on out, we're going to be looking at our hit point counters on our thief and our black mage. When you level up, you get some random rolls for things like hit point, speed, strength, and you want a lot of hit points for the final boss. And actually, his black mage has amazing hit points right now. We're not going to worry about that for the rest of the game. So we're mostly going to be watching the thief. The final boss has some very powerful magic attack that have a chance of one-shotting your entire party if they don't have enough hit point pools. If he's against your thief, he might do 280, 290 damage on some of these attacks. So you need the thief to have 300 more hit points. There is an item we're going to be getting later for safety's sake that increases character's hit point pool by 200. For the duration of 1 battle, and we're going to grab a few of those because we have to go to that shop anyway, but we hope to have enough hit points we don't have to use it. Because the final boss, we want to beat him fast, and not spending a turn buffing characters helps go fast. And if your black mage is over 250, you should be fine. So his black mage actually has amazing hit points. He has already more than he needs at the end of the game. And Xelnas, something I just thought of, looking at the timers. If you are listening to the stream, don't forget to dot done at the end of your race, because your timer isn't going, so Live Split won't do it for you. So Eli's dealing with the fact that he forgot to revive his warrior and thief before dropping back to the ice. He's flirting with Paralock. We're hoping that he gets the Judgment Staff off. Don't get paralyzed, White Mage. Okay, he made it. And while that's been going on, Xelnas is getting himself an airship. He's going to make his way down to the Citadel of Trials. What happened with Eli right there actually happens with a lot of us really often. Okay, Xelnas is actually doing the other route. He is actually going and getting the Giant Tonic first. There's a slight there's kind of two minor route changes in the community here. And it looks like he is going to be doing possibly doing the Merilith fight before the class upgrades. These Hellhounds are giving Xelnas some trouble, and actually he's actually been kind of threatening. He's going to have to take him out, I think. They're just not letting him escape right now. That's a very rare occurrence. And Eli finally out of the ice cave. That ice cavern was not very kind to Eli at all. Alright, and Xelnas just bought himself the Giant Tonics and the Fairy Bottle. The Fairy Bottle is a plot item we need up here in order to get into the Sunken Shrine. Some interesting map route that Xelnas just took. I'm actually going to investigate. I kind of liked it. It's not what I do, but I do like it. He didn't get teleport out of the Gaia village, but that's other than that, I like it a lot. So Xelnas up against the Sphinxes here. Sphinxes are not impossible to run from, but they can be difficult to run from sometimes. He doesn't get away from them. There also is the slight chance of an enemy in this area that can one-shot your entire party with an Earthquake spell. I've never had it happen to me, but I do try to save before this area on a race. So if you want to know how to get around the Citadel Trial, because of all these teleporter mazes, it's very, very complicated. Always take the bottom teleporter. If there's an option of 2, take the bottom one. If there's an option of 4, take the bottom one. Always take the lower one. Yes, that is the sandworm that can one-shot your party. So the Minotaur zombies here is one of the 2 unrunnable encounters in the random unrunnable encounters you can run into here in the Citadel Trials. You can also run randomly into dragon zombies. They're very rare, though. Also, we have nightmares. We're about to fight in a spike tile. Nightmares, you can run from them. It is almost impossible to do so at this point in the game. Later on, we're going to be getting some equipment that lets us run from them more easily. But unless we get a preemptive, we typically choose to fight these nightmares because you might take 10 or 20 turns trying to run from them otherwise. I've accidentally hit run on them before and gotten away, but it was just pure luck. Now, right now it looks like we are neck and neck. Xelnas is still a little bit ahead because he went ahead and did the fairy bottle side quest before coming in here. These mind flayers, potentially very dangerous, but Xelnas gets away from them. So we come to the Citadel for 2 reasons. One is to get the class upgrades. The other is to get 2 items in here, the healing staff and the gauntlets, which we use to glitch some items for the white mage later. We used to have to grind the white mage to level 33 instead of 19, but with the glitching the gauntlets into the golden staff and the healing staff into the lordly robes, we're actually able to get the white mage powerful enough that at level 19, the spell Healara is enough to outpace most of the final boss's attacks and heal the party. So it saves us a great deal of grinding. As long as it gets a sandworm there, but gets away before it gets a turn. This is a live race. Yes, it is. Yeah, the Labyrinth of Time, the all Warmech floor, absolutely is a great way to grind. We're hoping we'll see Warmech later in this run. It rarely happens. I think I've only fought Warmech on this route once. But it's just a treat to run into him. And also it can help buff the hit points of characters, getting a few extra levels for the Thief and Black Mage. Or I should say the Ninja and the Black Wizard, because we have just upgraded our characters. Instead of a Warrior, Thief, Black Mage, and White Mage, we now have a Knight, a Ninja, a Black Wizard, and a White Wizard. So even though he could go after Kraken right now, Xelnas is going to Melman to learn Healara. He's also going to go learn Teleport. Healar is a full party heal. Teleport is a little different than the exit spell you'll see in other Final Fantasy games, and also in this one with the White Mage. You can learn exit. Instead of taking to the world map, it takes you to the previous floor of whatever dungeon you were on. If you're on the first floor of a dungeon, it does take you to the world map. But we use it both to exit at points. We also use it for its intended use, backing up some floors in one of the dungeons. We also are learning Haste for the Black Mage. Haste works very differently than other Final Fantasy games. Because there is no active time battle, instead of increasing your speed, per se, number of turns you get, it doubles the number of hits your characters get per attack. So it effectively doubles their combat power. No, we do not get Masamune because of the equipment glitch. We have the Barbarian Sword, which is over twice as powerful. And we have it on all of our characters. Both of our runners are going to be coming up shortly on... Both our runners are going to be coming up shortly on Merilith, and we will see just how powerful this is. Well, there's the Hellhound Ogre Mage fight. It is an unrunnable encounter. And we also have the Pyrolist fight on the other side, which can potentially wipe your party. It's extremely dangerous. This could be bad. So, as much as possible, we try to walk on the lava tiles, because the lava tiles, they do 1 point of damage to your entire party, but they actually have a 0% encounter rate on them. So we want to just walk on these damage tiles to prevent things like all those Pyrolisks. It is not at all uncommon to get a 0 encounter Mount Gulg. We usually average 1 or 2 encounters. Alright, Xelnas is just reached Merilith, and for those of you who tuned in more recently, have not seen the power of the Barbarian Sword, watch how difficult it is to kill this boss. Two hits. I'd also like to stress that our characters are extremely underleveled. Yeah, Xelnas, I can tell you got sleepy with your map navigation. It's kind of funny to watch. But you're doing good. So Xelnas is able to hop in here and chat right now because we gotta wait for this old cutscene showing the Hellfire Chasm being opened up. Also, for those just tuning in, Xelnas has a broken controller. He had to do some remapping in order to do the run tonight. So, glad he's sticking with it though. Alright, Xelnas found where he was going. Yeah, our runners are extremely underleveled, yet extremely overpowered. Now, at this point in the game, they still don't have any magic defense. That's the biggest threat against them, but they'll be fixing that in the next 10 minutes or so. So, Xelnas went and got the Oxyale early from the Gaia side quest, so he can go straight to Kraken here. Eli is going to have to go do a little side quest before he can go into this dungeon. The Sahagin Prince Sahagin Chief encounter that Xelnas is dealing with right now is an unrunnable encounter. It's one of several we have here. I think 3 unrunnable encounters we have here. Any battle with a water elemental except for the one with the water elemental and Naga is unrunnable. The Ghost are unrunnable, and the Sahagin Prince Chief combination is unrunnable. So the floor that Xelnas is on right now has no encounters. It's where we get the Rosetta Stone. It's simply a plot item we need. It's at the very top floor of the Sunken Shrine. And then we're going to cast Teleport twice to back up 2 floors instead of exiting the world map like we would with a spell like Exit. So, back up 2 floors and then continue on with the rest of the dungeon to go find Kraken. So this ghost encounter is unrunnable, so you're gonna have to judgment staff them. And Eli has finished the Gaia side quest, so he's gonna go down to the Sunken Shrine himself. And Eli fell victim to the most annoying text box in the game there. You mash through it, you have to start over on it. Alrighty. Both runners encountering ghosts right now. So yeah, this dungeon is just a lot of unrunnables and kind of navigating through it. While Xelnas is answering questions in chat while running the game. Multitasking there. As far as which Final Fantasy has black chocobos, that could be 4, 5, Or 7, off the top of my head. Okay, 4. There you go. So, Xelnas is in the middle of the most complicated menu of the game. We're changing the light axe we just picked up into survival vests, which is our best running equipment in the game. It will be our armor for the rest of the game for all of our characters. The white mage's a little different. On her helmet and hand slot, we're actually going to be giving her lordly robes, and her armor slot is survival vest. The lordly robe increases her magic power, which will do 2 things. One, it will allow us to do more damage with the judgment staff, so there's some enemy groups later in the game that she can one-shot with it that other party members won't be able to. But more importantly, on the final boss fight, is going to allow her to heal for more hit points. Alrighty, and looks like Xelnas is getting to Kraken. Kraken is probably the least dangerous of the 4 fiends. Let's see how he does. Alrighty. So he got through there, and Eli is actually catching up. He's actually had a decent shrine. Sunken Shrine. Evil Granger, Final Fantasy IV's DS version is a famously difficult version of the game. Do not feel bad about having trouble with the bosses. The PC version of it, there's a hard mode and a normal mode. The hard mode is all you have on the DS version. So. Alright, Xelnas is on his way up to the Waterfall Cavern. The reason we go to at this point in the game is we now have survival vests, which makes it easier to run from the encounters here. Specifically, there's going to be a lot of nightmares, which are, we said earlier, difficult to run from, almost impossible, until you've stacked your characters head to toe with armor that makes it easier to run. There are 2 important items we'll be getting here in the Waterfall Cavern. One is the Warp Cube, which is a plot item we need to fight the next fiend. The other is the Ribbon, which will give us status immunity, but more importantly, will give us a lot higher magic defense. And we need magic defense specifically for the fight with Chaos. He has lots of very strong magic attacks. Xelnas getting a little trolled by a bat there. And Eli's getting a little unlucky with the encounters getting off of this floor in the shrine. You can see the Xelnas successfully escaping from nightmares there. That would not have been feasible before getting the survival vests. So we're doing kind of a unique item glitch here. Every other part of the game, we've actually been trying to glitch something into something, glitch an item to an item we normally weren't allowed to have at this point in the game. Here we're actually doing the opposite. We are glitching the ribbon that we want more of into a Gigantax, and then we're using that Gigantax to make more ribbons. So it's an item duplication glitch. That basically requires an extra step at the beginning to get extra ribbons. And Eli gets through Kraken. So now Xelnas is going to go make his final trip to Melman. Oh, if he remembers to. Okay, I think he remembered. Whew, that was almost really bad. So Xelnas almost made the worst mistake you can make at this part of the game, which is forgetting to talk to Dr. Yune and learn Lufinian. Lufinian is a language that the people in a village we're about to go visit speak. If you don't speak the language from this guy by giving him the Rosetta Stone, you cannot continue with the game. And it's a long walk to the village to find out you can't talk to them. So. So, once you get the airship, you think you can land where you need to go. But they did a good job of making just one spot for you to land in a giant landmass. So you still have to do a bunch of these long walks in order to get anywhere in the game. This walk in particular can be annoying because you can get a lot of the Minotaur zombie encounters, which are unrunnable. There's also, you can get ambushed by Winter Wolves, which can cast Ice Storm, which is not that dangerous to our characters at this point. Their version of Ice Storm isn't that powerful, but it is a long animation. If you get, 7 or 8 of them casting it, it can take a while. Okay, yeah, if the Black Mage hadn't escaped there, we would have gotten to see a bunch of them. Two White Dragon encounter followed by a 4 Dark Wizard ambush. That is, that's Ice Cave in a nutshell. Yes, sir. So, using Lufinian, so this person he's talking to get this item, the chime, would not have been able to speak with him if he had forgotten to learn that language. and you need that chime to get into the next dungeon. And some good news, I think right now Eli is probably on a solid PB pace. So I think we're expecting to see a big improvement for him. Yeah, it's interesting with Final Fantasy 1. All the versions of the game are actually fairly different from each other, as far as from the speedrun perspective go. We actually have a pretty good community for all the versions of the game. It is closest to the GBA port, but with the equipment glitch and the extra dungeons, it's still a fairly different game. So Xelnas is right now in the Mirage Tower. The second floor of the dungeon has the highest encounter rate in the game. So we'll be seeing lots of things here. We kind of have like we have a Discord community that I'm actually chatting through right now for the commentary for Final Fantasy 1 speedrunning in general, and we have channels for the PSP, Game Boy Advanced, Nintendo, and PlayStation versions of the game. And Feasel, who's hosting us right now, doing the restreaming and is giving us access to the Speed Gaming channel, actually ran the PS1 version with Darkwing Duck at AGDQ this year. Not the PS1 version, the NES version. We're all getting tired. So here, fighting the Blue Dragon, it is a guaranteed encounter. I don't remember the last time I actually saw anyone actually fight it. It's always just, kill him one hit. I don't remember what attacks he has. So now we've gotten the Flying Fortress. The Flying Fortress has one unrunnable encounter with the Evil Eyes. On the last floor of it, there is a very small chance of running into the Warmech. Yeah, with Gyre. Why did I say... Yeah. I saw DW running it earlier. That's what got me off. Yeah, it wasn't DW. DW was this channel was hosting him running the randomizer of it earlier and got it in my head. We want Warmech. I've actually only ever run across him in this dungeon once, but it is nice if you do. You'll have experience from it. And yes, the reason we use the Thief over the Monk is because the equipment glitch. Actually, if it weren't for the fact that only the Knight can equip the steel gloves, we would have two Thieves. With the Barbarian Sword, the Ninja is far and away the most powerful character in the game. You'll see every now and then they're parrying with their sword now. That's the parry animation that for some reason is built into the ribbon, which is great because that means we can actually put the ribbon on the shield slot without having to worry about soft locking if we do a parry. So Tiamat here, as long as you're healed too much of a threat, you can cast Thunderbolt, which can one-shot your party if you don't have full hit points. And he's casting Thunderbolt right here, but we have good health, so we should be fine. But we do need to pay close attention to our ninja. Our ninja has extremely low hit points on Xelnas' side. There's still a chance of getting Warmech on Xelnas' side. I think it's Sigma. Only time you ever fought Warmech was actually on the walk to the teleporter here. But I've only actually run across him once. It was funny too because it ended up being a gold split too. It was just a fantastic, fantastic Tiamat split that ended up being a gold by like 30 seconds over my previous gold and had a Warmech. It was just the best of everything. Xelnas is making his way over to the final dungeon. He walks to the final dungeon here. There's a little cutscene's going to play out. You play this game casually. You come back to where you started the game, and you see this guy kind of walk off and open another side door. You think, hey, that must be where I need to go to finish the game. That is not where you need to go to finish the game. That's where you go to the Labyrinth of Time. That is longer than the rest of the game. So if you're looking to finish the game, don't go that way. Just go straight. Talk to the crystal here. And the Chaos Shrine is our final dungeon of the game. It can be long. It has lots of unrunnables. It has several enemy formations that can kill your party. It is still not over. So he's playing kind of risky here, running from these white dragons. I'm not sure I would have done that, because they can cast this Ice Storm 4 times now if he fails to run. Okay, he got away. He's going to want to heal after that. That was scary. And Xelnas is fighting the Death Eye. Typically, it's 10 to 11 minutes to the end of the game from the Death Eye, so we're looking at gonna be, kind of the 140 range on this run. If all goes kind of as expected from here. Alright, so this encounter here, the Ice Giga's Winter Wolf, is the most frustrating encounter in here. Fortunately, as White Mage is able to go quickly, she's the only character powerful enough to kill all the characters in one attack. All of the enemies in one attack. Those lordly rogues make her judgment staff powerful enough to do that. Yes, the world record for this game right now is in the 125 range by double drop. We run this game fast. We talk about the frustration with the unrunnable encounters and the time losses that we have a lot of. And it's just because the game is so short for an RPG. When you lose 30 seconds to an ambush, you know, that can be a big deal. You can lose more than 10 minutes to RNG in this game fairly easily. But like I said, that's what makes it for a good race. So what's happened here in the... we've actually gone back in time, and we are fighting our way through Chaos' Shrine. We're killing the fiends in the past, and then Chaos in the past. Well, Garland in the past. Garland was the first boss and the last boss. So we're fighting more powerful versions of all four of the fiends here. Oh no! We accidentally had the Judgment Staff still turned on the White Mage there, so that's kind of a wasted turn for her. I think the Black Mage is defending too. That could have gone a lot worse though. He could have cast Flare twice. So now you have a floor dedicated to each fiend. So that was the Earth floor with a bunch of Earth Cavern enemies. Now we're on the Fire floor. It is the second shortest of the floors, and it, I believe, only has one unrunnable encounter, maybe two, but very rare. I know you can get a Fire Elemental, and you might be able to Ogre Mage battle. I'm not sure on that one. The red dragons are runnable dragons, but a lot of people, they're very, very rare fights. But it actually might not be a bad idea to kill them just to get a few more hit points on the ninja at this point. The ninja's really hurting for hit points. The Black Mage is at a point where you might choose not to giant tonic him or something, but the ninja's in real rough shape for Xelnas. And unfortunately, Eli tries to run from dragon zombies. You can. And this water floor, the Kraken floor, is typically the most RNG heavy of the four fiend floors in the Chaos Shrine, because you have a lot of battles for these water elementals, which are unrunnable. And Eli gets the White Dragon ambush, but they all attack instead of casting Ice Storm, which is very, very fortunate. So he's got Kraken down on Xelnas' screen, and in a little while we're going to be coming up on Lich with Eli's screen. The Tiamat fight here is going to be our first use of the spell Haste in a moment. We're going to cast Haste on our ninja with our Black Mage, so he'll do double damage, hopefully both turns, but at least in the second turn. We prefer the Black Mage to go first, because then we get 2 turns with double damage from the ninja. So you saw there the ninja hit 7 times on the first turn. Let's see how many times he hits in the second turn. Uh-oh. That's rare. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Thunderbolt and poison gas. So that's our "that's never happened before" moment. Oh my goodness. I have never seen the Tiamat fight kill anybody, much less 3 of our party members. I might have just attacked there myself, but this is definitely something new. I've never even seen that attack. Okay, that should kill him. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Oh, and then Lich gets Flare off and almost wipes out Eli's party. I had never seen Tiamat do that to a party. That's insane. That's gonna be something we need to highlight later. Yeah, that is a very significant time loss for Xelnas. Eli is now in pretty good position unless things go poorly at Chaos. And Chaos can always be who determines how the battle goes. That's Final Fantasy 1 for you, though. It can always throw a new curveball at you. Yes, that was the last. Yeah, right after that boss was you walk in the next room to fight the final boss. So it's a pretty big deal. And you know, I never safety saved before Tiamat 2 there ever. I will typically safety save right before the shrine, and some people do right before the Lich fight. Lich is the only fiend that typically will kill runners. But I had to re-examine what I do in races after seeing what just happened. That's... Gonna watch a replay of that later to figure out exactly what went wrong. But Eli's coming up on Kraken here. Jellyfish, we just had a pretty big time loss on Xelnas' side, so at this point, looks like Eli does have a fairly significant lead for being this close to the end of the game. But they're both in the final dungeon. Alright, and Tiamat 2 going somewhat better for Eli. Alright, and he is through Tiamat 2, so it's a slight little hallway to walk down with the possibility of a few more random encounters, but after that is just the final boss. We're going to do one final menu before the final boss to remove any speed enhancing items from the mage, because you actually want her to go last every turn. That way she always heals the damage that Chaos does to the party. We also want to give her the golden staff, which also increases her magic power. And oh, he's got a slight issue going on with his... I hope he heals for enough. He actually has a survival vest instead of lordly robes on his arm slot on the white mage. So he will not be healing for quite the power we're usually do. So we're hoping that he can still keep up with the damage from Chaos here. And Chaos can just decide to end your run very quickly. He can critical hit the white mage first turn, kill her, and you can't beat him. So, I've had runs where my mages went with 2 little hit points, and it took me like 5 tries just to get through the first round. So, the first couple rounds are typically the hardest. First thing we're going to be doing is putting the Giant's Tonic on our Black Mage and on our Ninja. Some people put them both in the same turn. Some people have the Warrior cast it both times, just so you're maximizing damage from the Ninja. So this is pretty bad. We're getting Blaze first turn. And oh, the Black Mage just survives. If the Black Mage had died there, it would be pretty hard to recover. Xelna's actually making great time as second run through the shrine. So our white mage can be casting Healara every turn. Our black mage, for the first 3 turns, is casting haste on everyone but the white mage. And after that, everyone's just attacking. Except for the white mage, who's always healing. This should be the final cast of haste. And I think Eli has it. Everything's kind of lining up good for him. He's got this party healed up and buffed up. So should just be kind of hold down the attack button to win now. White Mage isn't healing for quite as much as we'd like her to, but I think it's going to be enough. Okay, cast Slowra, and it missed. So, yeah. We've gotten lucky with the magic. He hasn't been casting the Tsunami and Cyclone and the real high damage magic attacks. Alright, and that's it. Good game on Eli's end. With a solid PB for Eli. He beat his PB by pretty close to 45 minutes there, I think. Or maybe over 45 minutes, actually. It's a very, very strong PB for him. And Xelnas is here getting revenge on Tiamat. And it may be Eli may not just have updated the leaderboards recently. But Eli's PB on the leaderboards was 233. And when he and I raced a few weeks ago, he did about 245, I think. Yep, Xelnas got his revenge on Tiamat. Alright, let's see how Xelnas does on Tiamat. Xelnas made stupid good time that second run through the shrine. He came actually fairly close to lapping Eli there, and Eli had a pretty good shrine. If it weren't for what happened before, this might have been, you know, maybe not a gold shrine, but close to it. Looks like things are going pretty good on this fight. You get the first several turns without losing a character, having anyone being really low hit points, you're probably going to be alright. And Blizzard, because he's on the easy magic cycle. Blizzard is usually a sign that he's not doing. It's Tsunami and Cyclone are the real big damage dealers. They also have very long animations. Blaze, we don't mind seeing too bad. It's kind of a long animation, but it's all right. The first turn can be bad. Slowra, if it catches the white mage, it's fine, and it misses anyway. Yeah, he's got this. Just another turn or two should do it. That might be it. Yep. Alright, good game. Okay, it was in reality a 4-minute PB for Eli. Still really awesome. Any PB is a good PB. Yeah, Xelnas, good good recovery there. That second Chaos Shrine was actually amazing. If you guys want to hop in the chat, if you are interested, we could talk about that run real quick. That was a emotional run. A lot of things happened, went back and forth. Yeah, that was that was a very surprising Tiamat. I'd never seen that before. I'd never heard of that before. That's gonna be something I got to watch a video on later. But I don't think I really saw anything too bad out that you did there. I might have kept attacking with a white mage instead of trying to heal. But other than that, you did what you could. Yeah, because you probably would need about 2 or 3 more turns. Hey, Xelnas.
There's nothing I could have done.
Hey, Xelnas, GG, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing. That was impossible. That was literally like it undersped and outsped me. So whatever. I had 2 survival vests on my white mage, and that's stupid.
That was, yeah, I'd never seen that happen before. That was
like he never cast all his skills. So
I'm gonna start safety saving there now.
No, don't. That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's.
Sorry, I disconnected. Looks like you had some bad luck there, Xelnas. What happened, man?
Tiamat decided that he's suddenly a magician and will cast all skill magic and only skill magic 4 turns in a row. He literally did it. I guess he forgot he can physical attack 70% of the time, but
yeah,
so, there's nothing I could have done.
Yeah, I'd never heard of anyone dying to Tiamat 2 like that. That was insane.
Even if I did the heal on turn 2, he apparently decided to outspeed me all of a sudden, even though he undersped me on turn 1. So, thanks, game. I really, that's definitely normal. And then of course,
that sucks.
And then of course, the chaos was attack, Blizzaga, attack, Slowra, Blaze, attack.
No, and that's
it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, give me the I didn't even need to Giants on it. Thanks, game.
Wow.
And your second time through the shrine actually went really, really well.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, I had an almost perfect shrine except for the double Earth Elementals. So, I had an almost perfect shrine. Like I had 5 unrunnables, and that was about it. So.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah. Well, on the second go through, the first go through, I probably got about 15 unrunnables, and it's like currently 2:18 where I am AM, so it's a little sleepy.
Yeah, I think we're all getting a little tired here, but so I'm probably gonna call it quits pretty soon here. But
yep.
You both did a great job, and Eli, congratulations on that PB. That was awesome.
Thanks, Shin.
I mean, compared to the rate, the last time I saw you race was when I raced you 2 weeks ago. Night and day difference. You cut 45 minutes off your time.
Yeah, it's all about getting familiar with the game and knowing where to go. I'm starting to feel much better.
Yeah, and so congratulations to you on that.
Thanks, man.
And depending on what happens with me and Chrono, we'll find out if you're going to be making it out of the group phase here. I think Xelnas was just eliminated, unfortunately. But Xelnas, you've been running awesome recently. And
I think Ellie's 1-2 and I'm 1-2. And if Chrono is unavailable because he seems to be very busy, they'll make you 3-0 and him 1-2, but him 1-2 with like a bajillion hour time. So it'll come down to me and Ellie's average time in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ellie, did you get to race Chrono?
Nope, I did not get a chance to.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot. Chrono also. Oh no, never mind. I guess that means
yeah. So
never mind. I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh,
how about you? Were you able to race some Shin? I know you tried to schedule it the other day.
No, we didn't get to race today, but we'll get to that soon. But
all right.
Anyway, right now we're just taking up stream time, so I just wanted to thank Speed Gaming for hosting us. I want to thank Feasel for giving us access to the channel. I want to thank both of our runners here, Eli and Xelnas. Everybody go ahead and follow both of them. My name's Shinbreaker7. I'll be running this game some. I'll be commentating more. Keep track of the tournament. And hey, go ahead and check out the speed run. It's a pretty easy run to learn. A lot of fun with a great community. You guys have anything else y'all want to say?
Just thank you for having us. That's for me at least. And I hope everyone has a good weekend.
Yeah, thank you for having us. If you're interested in this, this is a much shorter tournament compared to another speedrunning tournament that's happening. It's Final Fantasy IV. So if you know Final Fantasy IV runners, just keep your eye out. And there are tons and tons of races involved with that as well.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and y'all have yourselves a wonderful night.
Peace.
Peace.